Greetings to all the parishioners and friends of Saint Alphonsus Parish in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is a first for me to do a short presentation on the parish internet site. For those who do not know me, I am Brother Leo Patin. I've been a Redemptorist brother for 59 years, taking vows before Vatican II. Imagine that. Where did those years go? I was born down the road at St. Mary's Hospital and baptized in this very church on March of 1942. Our family grew up just 2 blocks away. Some of you may already know that there were 5 of us boys who joined the Redemptorists. During my many years as a Redemptorist, I have lived and worked in many different places around the world, both in the northern and southern hemispheres. Much to my surprise, last summer I was moved to this very parish after being gone 62 years. I find the work and the people very friendly. It's so nice to be home. Several days ago, I was approached by our pastor, Father Rick Potts, who asked if I would share a few words about our Redemptorist confrere, Blessed Francis Xavier Seelos. Before moving here to St. Alphonsus in Grand Rapids, I worked the last 4 years at the National Francis Xavier Seelos Shrine, pushing for his cause toward being declared a saint. First of all, how many of you ever heard of the Redemptorist, Blessed Francis Xavier Seelos? Only one miracle away from sainthood. Or how he happened to cross the ocean from Germany to join the Redemptorist order of priests and brothers here in America. He was born in Fussen, Germany in 1819. He knew Redemptorists were a missionary order, and his dream had always been to be a great missionary like his patron namesake, Francis Xavier. He had finished most of his seminary studies in Augsburg, Germany, and was promised he could join the Redemptorists if he came to America. Arriving in 1843, he was accepted as a novice, and after a year's novitiate, he took vows as a Redemptorist and finished his studies and was ordained at the end of 1844. He got his feet wet immediately and was stationed in several parishes, appointed prefect of the students in the seminary, novice master for a short time, and then worked a few years in Philadelphia as associate pastor with John Newman as pastor. John Newman, a Redemptorist, eventually would serve as the 4th Bishop of Philadelphia, and in 1977 was canonized a saint. What a mentor Seelos had in John Newman. I doubt it could have gotten any better than that. 2 future saints working in the same parish rectory. Seelos eventually did move on to the mission team and gave missions all along the upper East Coast, the Ohio Valley, and into Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and in and around the St. Louis area. There are even records of the mission team giving a mission to the parish Saints Peter and Paul in the city just 35 miles north of us in Ionia, Michigan. Records of his preaching a priest retreat in Grand Rapids, Chicago, and Milwaukee, and countless sisters retreats, all of which are recorded in the Redemptorist annals. Maybe some other time we can do more on the life of Seelos, but right now I wanted to introduce you to him and how I compared the last year of Blessed Seelos to the times we are going through now with the present COVID-19 pandemic of 2020. Blessed Seelos lived and died during the yellow fever pandemic in New Orleans in 1867 at the young age of 48. 2 years ago, New Orleans celebrated its 300th year since it was founded. Blessed Seelos was stationed in New Orleans back in 1866 to 67. He died October 4th, 1867, while ministering to the many who fell ill of yellow fever. Medications were practically non-existent back then. In fact, the simple aspirin was unheard of until 30 years later. Who would have heard of wearing an N95 mask? in those days, went out and about among the sick. No such thing as ventilators or intubation. Unheard of was the term safe distancing. Just how did Blessed Seelos die? He and his confrere Redemptorists in New Orleans were going through something very similar to what we are battling now. The yellow fever pandemic was raging in New Orleans. It was a simple, well-known fact. If you caught yellow fever, you died. The city was all but shut down. Seelos refused to let anyone die alone, forgotten, or without the sacraments. As you can well imagine, during his unending and dedicated work among the sick, he finally lost the battle, and he died after finally succumbing to yellow fever. The people in the city were devastated. He was their gentle and caring priest, always putting his work and the people ahead of anything of importance to him. The people knew this, and because of their genuine love for them, his genuine love for them, they loved their saint dearly. All during the present pandemic, the entire world suffers. I have been thinking of Blessed Seelos, trying to imagine the condition he died in and the similarities of the times. All of us at least have a taste now of what he would have experienced during his last days on earth. There is nothing that would have kept Seelos locked in place or staying 6 feet apart from anyone. Putting his trust in God and giving his all to the sick with his time and administering the sacraments, he died. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. John chapter 15, verse 13. The people loved their Seelos, and at the time of his death, it was normal to be buried within 24 hours because of the lack of refrigeration and intense heat and humidity in the area. The next morning in the Redemptorist St. Mary of Assumption Church, there was hardly room to move around. The faithful were jamming the church to help put Seelos to rest. This church today is on the National Historical List of Special Churches of European Style. To this day, the main attraction is his shrine, located in the sanctuary behind the main altar. From his death 153 years ago to this present day, the faithful have honored Seelos as their very own saint and have been insisting the church proclaim him in their litany of the saints. So during this pandemic, let us turn to Blessed Seelos and pray a few moments, asking that he watch over our world and those of us who are so ill or have died, and all their loved ones who mourn them. All those involved working in the front lines and behind the scenes, all working together to get things back to normal again. Please, Blessed Seelos, give them all the courage to continue, as you did, knowing the difficulties and having lost your very own life during these same typical days. Blessed Francis Seelos' National Shrine is located at St. Mary's Assumption Church down in the Irish Channel in the heart of New Orleans. We Redemptorists have been working in New Orleans since 1843. In our church here in Grand Rapids, as you walk towards the sanctuary on the right side aisle, our parish shrine to St. Francis Seelos is present. In fact, we are filming this at his little shrine here at Saint Alphonsus in Grand Rapids. Please check it out once we return to church, which may be soon. One more thing of note. I know that a very promising miracle is being presented and investigated in Rome now. The hope being that it authentically would add Seelos to the litany of saints. This site is on the page somewhere. My filmer, Father Chung, said he'll put it on the site here so you guys can look at this miracle that could move Seelos into sainthood. Please feel free to let me know if you have any questions. I want to share your thoughts on Blessed Seelos, or if you want me to share thoughts on Blessed Seelos or want to learn more about him. I can be reached at my home, where I live, with 4 other Redemptorists at the parish rectory next to the church. Thank you.